I'm joined with Paul Doswell following yesterday's defeat to Dorking Wanderers. Again, I'd like to apologise we couldn't get this to you sooner. We did record a full-length interview yesterday, but due to technical difficulties, we couldn't get it to you sooner. So, Paul, can you give me your thoughts on what happened yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I've seen the comments that we didn't do an interview. I think one of the things that I wanted to do yesterday was front it up straight after the game. I felt that was important for our supporters to hear what we had to say. And obviously, my thoughts haven't changed at all. It was a very, very difficult evening, certainly in my house. I think the whole family were around for Boxing Day. I wasn't able to spend any of it with them because it was just one of those moments in your life where you felt embarrassed. I think pride, was hurt. And, just that feeling of letting everyone down. And that's probably the worst feeling in the world, I think.
Yeah, I was going to mention there, sort of, obviously fans are going to be the first ones to be asked, wanting answers. So what was your message to the fans?
Well, I think the easiest thing in the world to do is to apologise. But you only apologise if you actually mean it. And, like I said, my whole evening yesterday has been ruined sort of pretty much today. I've only really just surfaced today because it does hurt. And I can only speak for myself. I think the players have got a show on Tuesday, tomorrow, that they need to respond and want to respond to that defeat. And like I said, it was a very quiet journey on the way home with me and Birdie and Scott Munro. It was a difficult evening here in the Doswell household. And I just can only imagine that everyone else, within this club and team felt the same. But there's two things you can do in life. The easiest option for me yesterday is to look at it and say, because the buck stops with me. There's no doubt about that. I'm always happy to take the plaudits, and you've also got to be able to take the punches when it's not so good. So there's two things you can do in life. You can either, offer your resignation on a defeat like that, which did pass through my mind. I've never lost 8-0 in any management game, and I've done over 1,400. Or you take the other option and think, no, I'm going to fight this all the way. And, it might not be Tuesday, it might not be Sunday, but I think that my instinct is always, it's fight or flight, Adam. And my instinct is always to fight. That is something I instill in my teams. And, like I said, the very easy answer is that this team I still trust. We're still in the top 7. We still got the club through to the FA Cup first round. And the way that I tried to look at it is, unfortunately, for us yesterday, we lost 3 points. We lost one game. And whilst the manner of the defeat and, clearly, the amount of goals that we conceded was a disgrace, it won't and shouldn't define our season. And that's my job now, is to make sure that it doesn't define our season. And as I said, the reaction tomorrow is important, but it's not guaranteed in terms of there's 2 teams playing tomorrow. We've got another tough game against Dorking. It will be cock a hoop after the way they played against us yesterday. But from my point of view, and from me and Baird's point of view, like I said, the easy call is to ring the chairman up and say, Chairman, we think you can get someone else who could do a better job. Or you look at yourself and go, no, we feel we're the best people for the job. And with the experience we've got, we can not turn it round. It's one game, but turn around that particular situation. So, as I said, a lot of self-analysis on my part, looking at what myself and Birdie do. But at the end of the day, it's the players that cross that white line. And I think all of us, need to take that responsibility.
And talking about the game a little bit, obviously a big part of it was the red card at the beginning. What was sort of your view on that incident and how that changed the game?
Well, I think people know me that I won't publicly hammer people. Certainly I won't ever publicly hammer my players. That will be done in-house. And obviously a lot of that was done yesterday. But it's the same mistake that happened at Slough. And just to clarify the rule, if you'd have made a genuine attempt, i.e. slide tackle or trip the guy up as he went through, it wouldn't have been a sending off. It would have been a penalty, but not a sending off. But to do a push in the back, just as the guy was shooting, meant that you didn't make a genuine attempt to play the ball. And on that basis, it is a correct decision. It is a sending off. That puts them 2-0 up in 3 minutes. And it made the job incredibly difficult, because I think Dorking Wanderers up there with Ebbsfleet are the best footballing side in this league, the way they play. They hit their absolute straps yesterday. Virtually everything they hit went in. And they were a team that absolutely dominated us from 2 minutes onwards. And, I think all of us just wished the game would finish quicker. I mean, it's as being honest as that. So sometimes you have to give a lot of credit to the opposition. It's two teams out there that are looking to play. We turned up confident. We turned up with a game plan that went out of the window within literally 2 minutes. And, you've got all the other things that go with it. Alfie Rutherford, one of our ex-players, scored, quite superb sort of 4 goals on the day. Jason Pryor scores the penalty. So a lot of the things that would niggle you, that those players can't do with us, and were good players for Havant. They're against you on the day. I think when he scored his second goal or his third goal, and that was what it meant to Alfie Rutherford on the day. How our supporters viewed that, I'm not too sure. I'm not sure it's the cleverest thing for Alfie to have done, because football's very calm, and there's always another day in football. And if you remember, Adam, we beat Dorking 6-0 at home. Could have been 10. And we didn't go over the top on that. Got to say, Mark White, their manager, on that day was a class act. And, Mark and I spoke last night, and, he's equally as respectful. So, Mark White's felt the pain of losing 6-0. I've now had to take the pain of losing 8-0, and that pain hasn't gone away by any stretch. I don't think the pain will go away all season. I'm not sure it'll ever go out of my management memory card. It's up there as my worst defeat in probably 1,300, 1,400 games. I've had some massive lows, losing playoffs, when we were so far in front of the 6th place team. I've had 2 or 3 horrendous FA Cup disappointments, losing to teams 3 or 4 leagues below us. So this is, it won't define us, and it shouldn't define the season. But you'd be a fool to think that it won't stay in that memory bank for a long, long time. And there's nothing we can do or say to put it right, apart from show the supporters, which we have this season. This season side in the main, 95% of the time, has given the supporters everything. And, I felt sick to my stomach yesterday knowing that we had 200 plus supporters up there who paid probably £20 to get on a coach, who paid £12 to get in. And, I just felt, I just knew how they felt. I knew their pain, really, because, as a supporter myself of another football club, I've been to games where I've felt the team hasn't put in a performance. The worst thing you can accuse the team of is not trying, and that's what 1 or 2 of our supporters have accused the team of. All I would say to them is that no one goes out there not to try. It might look like that, but they were almost shell-shocked. I think when we were 3-0 down, I think in the 9th minute, and we were down to 10 men, it's very difficult to stem that particular tide against a team that, that gave us no mercy. They were determined. They had us their foot on our throat, and they didn't release it the whole game. And I give them credit for that. It's one of the things that we talk about when you've got an opponent at your mercy. Don't let them off the hook. But it's going to hurt your goal difference the whole season. Our job has always been to see if we can get in the playoffs in the top 7. There's another 23 games left to hit that target of getting in the playoffs. And to be honest, if you get in the playoffs, it's not about how you played in December or January. It's how you play in those 2 weeks in May. So, as I said, I think the experience that I've got will help. I've never experienced an 8-0 defeat, so I'm trying to process that and understand. I've been asked a lot of times already, what are you going to do? Well, the honest answer is I need to really think about it, because it's not happened to me before. When you're experienced, you draw on previous experiences. But if you haven't had a previous experience, which we haven't, me or Birdie, of losing in that manner, it's something that you need to look at. But I think the biggest person you look at is yourself. You look at yourself first, and you then look at everybody else after that. And that's pretty much, for me, I think, I've got a fighting instinct, got a fighter's mentality, and I don't like being embarrassed. I don't like the pride being hurt. And it was a day yesterday that, that all of those emotions were felt.
Yeah, I suppose the best thing out of it is probably the timing, because it means you can get going again tomorrow. And is it just a response you're looking for from the players?
If you want me to be absolutely honest, which I like to be, it'd be different if Hemel had played, asking players to play 2 games in 2 days. You've already got the Premiership managers saying they shouldn't play 2 games in about 26 days. And we're being asked to play tomorrow, having just been beaten 8-0 with 10 men, which meant that everyone run even more. And now we're playing Hemel that played no game 2 games ago. It's a massive, massive disadvantage. You've then got a situation that we're going to play Hemel on Tuesday and Dorking aren't playing Tuesday because Dulwich have got COVID, which means that we'll play Dorking having played 3 games in 5 days. So the next 2 games, whilst you want a reaction, I'll also understand, and I need to get the team selection right to make sure that we got fresh enough players to get through these next 2 games. It's not just a question of saying to that same 11 players, right, go out and, repair the damage, because this isn't actually about anything other than trying to win a football match. So I'm not looking at it in the sense of we cannot take back that performance, and we'll never get that chance again with our supporters, because unfortunately our supporters have got to take that on the chin. So what tomorrow is about is, can we get a result hook or by crook? Can we then rest and recover well enough to then put in a performance against Dorking? And, as a football manager, that's a concern for me, because I know how difficult it is to recover only 2 days after a game. It's virtually impossible. But what I do know is those players in the dressing room tomorrow will give, because they're feeling the same hurt as we are. It might not seem like it, but they do care, and they care what their families think. A lot of them had families and girlfriends and wives and children there yesterday. They weren't getting in their car yesterday with anything other than feelings of, we've let everyone down. And I think that's the worst feeling in the world for most people, to feel you've let people down. But it's football. Southampton have got beaten 9-0 on 2 occasions. Manchester City can beat Premiership teams by 7s and 8s comfortably, week in, week out. We're not the only team it's happened to. It's happened to virtually every team. I think Man United got beat 6 or 7 only a season ago, and these are top teams. So, if you understand football, there's the dog coming solo. He's talking to me at the minute, the dog. If you know your football and know character and know yourself, like I said, if it happened again, I think you really got to question everything, like we did last night. But I think you've got to look at everything. But would that team let that happen again? I don't believe so. I think they've got to show everyone tomorrow what they're made of as men and people. And that's the response I'm looking for. Not necessarily a Barcelona Man City performance, but a performance where at least the supporters can clap them off, knowing that, we did a lot better than on Boxing Day.
Yeah, as you say there, it's an important couple of games, but also, and you have mentioned this previously, there's still half the season left of which you can really, hopefully, push up into those places.
We're in those places, Adam. 17 games have gone and we're in the playoffs as far as I'm aware. I haven't looked at the table. I haven't been able to look at anything yesterday and today. But unless someone tells me any different, I think we're in the top 7, aren't we?
Yeah. We've
played 17 games. We've had 10 first-team players injured with long-term injuries that just started to come back. So, if you ask me an overall view, the overall view before the Dorking game is we've done absolutely brilliant to be in that position and get through to the FA Cup first round. So, there's lots of good things that have happened this season. As I said, I knew we weren't right last year. We were right in the first season I had here. No, but I'd make the point again, this is my 3rd season at the football club and we still haven't finished the season yet. It'd be nice to be in that position to finish the season. But you're also, aware with what's going on at this present moment of time. Like I said, if you look at it, we're, Hemel have got a huge advantage tomorrow because of COVID. Dorking have now got a huge advantage on Sunday because of COVID. So unfortunately, COVID is still having a huge impact on the integrity, if you like, of the competition. So I'm fully aware of that. And like I said, as an experienced manager, I think I can manage this team through into the playoffs. Whether that, we could lose the next 2 games, it wouldn't stop me thinking I've got half the season left to win enough games to get us into the playoffs. People can be hysterical, people can go, and shout and scream. It doesn't actually get you anywhere. What you've got to be able to do is you've got to be intelligent enough and bright enough to be able to look at the situation, hope that it was an absolute one-off. But as I said, if you take our other performances this season, in the main, they've been very, very good. And got to be very, very careful that you don't overreact to one ridiculously poor performance. And that's what I'm trying to, and that's what, when someone said, what's your experience and what are you going to do? Well, this is one of the things I'm trying to do. I'm trying to look at it sensibly without, the easiest thing for me in the world to do, by the way, is just to go and shout and scream, shout at the players, you're all rubbish, you've let us down, we're this, we're that. Because whatever I say to the players, I include myself in that analogy. Listen, I was rubbish on Boxing Day. Ian Baird was rubbish on Boxing Day because we're all in it together. If we get in a top 7, then I think we're good players, good management. I think, you go FA Cup first round playoffs, we know what can happen in the playoffs. We could end up getting Dorking in the playoffs. I'll tell you what, we wouldn't lose 8-0 in the playoffs. So, that's what you've got to look at. Like I said, the easiest thing for me in the world to do, and that's how I felt last night, was to overreact, was to react and say the wrong things. And I don't think I've said a lot different today than I spoke when I spoke to you yesterday for those 10 minutes. I didn't criticise individuals. I won't criticise individuals. The only person, as I said to you yesterday, was that the person I criticised most was myself, because I'm the leader of the pack. It's me that's brought those players in. It's me that set up how I wanted to play. But as a manager, you can't play for the players. I think you'd love to still be able to play, me and Bairdy, but you can't. So what you're hoping is that those players, you've moulded those players into how you want to be. And I think, as I said, for 20 games, including the FA Cup, for 22 games this season, the players have been excellent. Do I overreact over the worst performance of my career and the disappointment that the fans have felt on the back of it? As I said, some of that was done yesterday in the dressing room, but not a massive amount. It was just, it's pointless. I think everyone knows, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work out that it wasn't a happy dressing room yesterday.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Paul, and good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to do our very, very best tomorrow. Our supporters can be assured of that. Didn't know this until, like I say, I've gone on radio silence for the last 24 hours, but I see that the club, have made a gesture to the supporters in terms of some help with the travel, and whatever the club put in, myself and Bairdy are going to match that as well, because it's not necessarily about the supporters club. I think that should go to all the people that travelled. But and I haven't asked the players yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if the players didn't want to contribute to it as well. So, like I said, we're both going to make a contribution and probably match what the club are going to do. Don't think we deserve to get paid for that performance. Not that we get paid anyway, but we're going to make sure that we contribute so that supporters can, at least, and it's not going to help them too much, but financially, at least we can reimburse, their coach travel or something along those lines. I think that the captain of the team and the club captain of the team should ask the group. It shouldn't come from me. I think they should ask the group whether they think that they should contribute. And I think that those 3 contributions from the club, from the staff, and then from the players, is probably the right gesture to make. It won't make it any better, right? It's not going to stop people feeling that they got let down yesterday. But if I travelled and watched that performance, at least, I'm not even saying I'd take the money, to be honest, but at least it shows that people understand within the club, and the players understand, and certainly the management understand that, that financially that was unacceptable for our supporters to travel. and see that manner of performance. But listen, the biggest thing is when I get there tomorrow, my chest will be out. We'll front it up in the bar. I'm sure 6 or 7 of our and their brilliant supporters will come up. Some will want to have a chat about it, and I understand that. And I'll be the first one there ready to chat to them about it. I know that other people will tell us to crack on and make sure that we do well this season. But one game doesn't define you. And that's what I want to get across to our supporters. 10 men for 96 minutes with injury time, playing with 10 men is incredibly hard against a very, very good side. And we knew we were going to be playing against a very, very good side prior to going. And again, the way that I can sort of analyse this, if we'd have got a point yesterday at Dorking, who had the best home record with Ebbsfleet, I'd have been over the moon. So when you look at it, Adam, in the context of your whole season, we've probably lost 1 point. Okay, what we have lost is, or had to suffer, is embarrassment, hurt of pride. But I'm sure when a boxer gets knocked out, his pride is hurt. There's no doubt about that. Boxers are very, very proud men. But a really, really good boxer will get back up and he'll go back again. And that's what we've got to do tomorrow. We weren't just jabbed. We were absolutely knocked out. 2 counts of 10. But the way you do it is, say, in that dressing room, you go and put a bucket of water over your head, ice water, like the boxers do. You shake your eyes, you shake your head, and you get ready for the next round. And that's the way I see it. I think we go into the next round of our 3 games tomorrow, and we got to come out fighting. And even if the performance isn't great, as I said, Hemel could be on top form tomorrow. I want to make sure that our supporters see that everyone at that football club, players-wise, is walking off that ground, not being able to literally lift a leg.